In ancient times, there was a great siddha, a great enlightened being called Gorak. Gorak means the cow protected one. And the legend of Gorak is a beautiful story where there was a woman who was barren. She couldn't have a son and tried for many years until finally she took the help from a holy man, a wandering sadhu that was coming through her village. And this sadhu gave her, the story goes, gave her these special seeds to take and said, in 9 months, you'll have a beautiful son. We'll leave it at that part of it. So she takes this sadhu's magical seeds and is pregnant. And finally, she gives birth to this beautiful son 9 months later. But he looks special. He's super radiant. And he looks like he's already awake, like he's already enlightened and already shining with so much energy. And she gets freaked out. And her friends get freaked out. And she tells her friends the story about the sadhu, and they all decide that he must be a black magician and that the best thing for her to do is to get rid of this baby. So she takes the baby and she throws the baby out with the cows and covers it in cow dung and just wants to be done with it. She feels like she's made this huge mistake. 12 years later, the sadhu comes back and says, "Where's my son?" Of course, this lady is completely freaked out and horrified, and she falls at the sadhu's feet and cries and begs forgiveness and tells the sadhu what she did with the baby when it was born. And he was cool. He was like, "Fine, just show me where you put the baby." And so she takes him out in the back where the cows are, and there was this, big heap of cow dung. And the guru digs through the cow dung, and underneath it is this perfect 12-year-old shining boy, Gorak. And he's uncovered, and he looks up and he says, "Master, you've come. I've been waiting for so long. I have so many questions for you." And the sadhu says, "That's fine. I can answer your questions, but right now I'm hungry. Go get me some food." And Gorak says, "Right away." He runs off into the village to beg for his master's food. He goes to one house, and the lady of the house gives these beautiful dosa, like these pancakes that they eat in South India. Beautiful dosa. And says, "Here, give this to your master. He'll love this." So he brings the dosa back to the master, and the master has the dosa and says, "Wow, that was really delicious. Thank you so much. Let's go to sleep. We need to sleep." So they go to sleep. They wake up the next morning, and Gorak says to the master, "Master, good morning. I have so many questions for you." And the master says, that's all fine and good, your questions, but I'm hungry again. Go to that same house that you went to yesterday and get me those same dosa, because that's what I want to eat. Gorak says, "Right away." He goes back to that house. And the lady of the house says, "Well, we don't have those dosa. We had it last night because there was a celebration, but we don't usually eat like that. Here's some fruit for your master. Bring this for his breakfast." And he said, "No, that won't do. My master said that he wanted the same dosa from the same house." And the lady started to get perturbed, and she said, "Here, bring him some rice and vegetables. I don't know what you want, but here, just take this." And he said, "No, I have to have the same dosa." She said, "Well, I'm not giving you the same dosa." And she went to close the door, and Gorak put his foot in the door and said, "Ma'am, I'm not going to leave until I get those same dosa from my master." And this lady, just so angry now, she said, "Fine, I'll give you the dosa if you give me your right eye." And so Gorak just took his hand and pulled his eye out and offered it to the lady. She freaked out and she ran inside and made the dosa and came back out and gave him the dosa, and he took it back to his master and gave it to him with sort of hiding his eye. The master ate the dosa and said, "Wow, there's just something about that dosa. It's so good. Thank you for getting that. What happened to your eye?" And Gorakh said, "Oh, nothing. It's just a little scratch." And he said, "No, what happened?" And he made him tell him the truth. And the Guru said, "Wow, what devotion. You gave your right eye for my breakfast. Now give me your left eye." And so Gorakh didn't hesitate. He just pulled out his other eye and gave it to the master. And the story goes that then the master was able to use his powers to restore his vision, whatever. And then he said, "Now, what's your question?"